We are gathered here for our Gurpurab celebrations of Guru Nanak Dev Ji, the founder of the Sikh religion. It's been an absolute privilege to have been here many times before as a guest, and it feels surreal to be on the other side now to be chairing this meeting, this Gurpurab celebrations. We have so many people here, so many MPs here, and really it's heartwarming, and thank you for making the journey, the pilgrimage really to Westminster in the name of Guru Nanak Dev Ji's Gurpurab, the 555th Gurpurab. Of course, the three tenets of the Sikh religion, Naam Japna, to pray and meditate upon God's name, Kirt Karni, to live your life with honest means, and Vand Ke Shakna, to share one's good wishes, good wealth, and the concept of seva, your food, langar. And today we have a Gurpurab which we will celebrate with lots of recognitions, and of course some keynote speakers and people who have genuinely contributed to society. And I think in the name, on this auspicious occasion of Guru Nanak Dev Ji's Janam, we will honor those people, and we will make sure that this is repeated every year as it has been. Can I thank all the MPs who have made this journey? And I look around the room and I'm about to expose my ignorance, because like everybody else in this place at the moment, I'm a newbie and still coming to terms with looking at names. I know we have Vrinda Jas here, we have Sally Jameson, we've had Deirdre Costigan here before. I think she's had to leave. We've got Buggy Shankar here, we had Serena from the Midlands, and of course Satvir Kaur was here earlier, and Sarah Coombs, Monica, who's over here to my left, and Tan Desi, and not forgetting the lady sitting to my left, Preet Gill. And there are many others, and I'm sure when Preet gets up, she'll mention a few more. And without further ado, what I would like to do is really just welcome you all and pass the baton on to the trailblazer that is Preet Gill.
Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. It has been a real honour for the last 7 years to have been able to celebrate Gurpurab here in the House of Commons, because this is your parliament, and it really heartens me that every time we do this event, we don't send out invites. We have an Eventbrite and we allow anyone to book to come. And it's always fascinating to meet people who say, this is my first time I've ever been to the House of Commons. And actually, I want all of you to feel very, very welcome by all of us. Nanak naam chardi kala tere pane sarvata pala. We as Sikhs think about, not just think, but act to deliver the betterment for all our communities. And actually being a politician is very much about service, serving our communities wherever our respective constituencies are, and serving you all that have come here today. I'm really proud that when I became a Member of Parliament, I became the first Sikh woman, and Thanmanjit Desi became the first turban-wearing Sikh. And we always knew that that was never going to be enough. It was never enough. That representation for our community should have been much more, as it should be for all our communities, because actually the Commons is where your views, your issues, your concerns as legislators are discussed here in Parliament, and it's only right that we are representative. And so it is really a great honour that we have now 11 Sikh members of Parliament, and it took 7 years. So I think this is something that we should absolutely celebrate. We won't stop, because we need to see much more representation. Jazz has been a leader of Redbridge Council. I know that there are councillors here. We need to see so much more representation, especially locally where you are. So do get involved in politics. Do reach out to any one of us 11. I saw Harpreet Uppal as well. She's from Huddersfield. She's here as well. And it's just really wonderful, because if we can work together, just think about how many things that we can actually resolve here in Parliament, because our communities, yes, they do very well. Yes, they're successful, But we've seen with migration, our communities also have lots of issues, just like everybody else does. Health inequalities, access to good housing, good jobs, and I could go on. But it's really, really wonderful to see you all, and thank you for your love and support. You know, all 11 of us are going to need it as we continue to work, but it isn't just the 11 of us, because there are other MPs from all parties that represent you who are not Sikh, but actually they care about these issues. Sarah is here, she's been a great champion. She used to work for Tom Watson. She really understands the issues for our communities, and it's really about how we work together. And I'm delighted that I've been able to hand over the chair of the all-party parliamentary group for British Sikhs to Jazz, and I know he will do a phenomenal job in keeping us all united and making sure that we are a strong one voice for our communities and all of our communities. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
And we started this program really because this is the building in which decisions are made, history is forged. And as a Sikh community, we've been here for the last 5 decades and plus. But whilst we've seen advancements as a community, we've progressed and prospered, we've also had many challenges. And a lot of those challenges that we faced over that period, whether it was to do with our Akaal, our identity, our human rights issues, kind of fell on deaf ears in the most important place. So it was with that purpose, when we launched the Sikh Network in 2014, that we thought we need to bring the message of Guru Nanak Dev Ji into the House of Commons, to parliamentarians, and then set what are our issues as a community forward. And that coincided with the launch of the Sikh Manifesto. But a major part of Guruji's philosophy and principles was truthful living. Now you'll hear a lot more about Guru Nanak Dev Ji's life from our key speaker, but I just wanted to touch on one aspect of Guruji's. You would have heard over the last couple of weeks around Gurpurab, the Sakhi of Guru Nanak Dev Ji calling Babur a Jabur. So Babur was the emperor of the time, the ruler, the king, the prime minister, the president. And when he asked Guru Nanak Dev Ji in his presence, instead of bowing to him and lauding to him and celebrating it, Guru Nanak Dev Ji called him out for what he was. He called him out for his oppressive regime, his discrimination against other faiths, and challenged him. And that was unheard of. But that was Guruji's inner spirit, which was he could not get away from speaking the truth, no matter how it shocked others. And it's that's within our Sikh DNA, that not only do we practice truthful living, but we should also value and live by the principles of our faith, whether that's being truthful to ourselves, truthful to our faith, but also truthful to our community. So when there are challenges, as there are in any generation, as there are today that we face these, it is going to be you, every one of you in this room, every one of us in the world who follow Guru Nanak Dev Ji's Sikhi as a duty that we have to speak the truth and we have to stand up and we have to challenge oppression, we have to challenge tyranny, not only when it's to Sikhs but to others. Our history is littered with sacrifices for others, from our gurus to the Sahibzade and to many, many others. But it's understanding that Sikh activism, which is one of the core parts of what the Sikh Network is about. Activism is about raising issues that affect your community, that affect others around you. And as part of that, that's within our DNA. It's not something that we can allow others to do and we just sit back. These are issues that we do for no gain. There's not a price, there's not a cost, there's no exchange. In Sikhi, we give langar to the hungry, to the needy. We give shelter to those who are homeless. There's no exchange for that. We don't do it for any other reason other than it being our duty. That's the same when we are doing our activism. We do it for the defenseless and we do it for those oppressed. We're not seeking votes, we're not seeking money. It's part of your DNA. And that's what is important when we come to places like Parliament, because it's pressing those core values and principles on those who are making decisions that affect all of us. Share information, talk to your friends, your family, and importantly, talk to your MPs. There's many here today, they are answerable to each one of you. As a constituent, when you write to them, we do a lot of campaigns, whether it was a campaign around transnational repression, whether it's the campaign to free Jagtar Singh Jal, who's been incarcerated for the last 7 years. MPs will receive your letters and they are duty bound to respond. And you'll probably hear from some of them today but your lobbying, your campaigning makes a difference. So that's how you can all get involved. Simple actions, and remembering it's our duty that what we do. It's what our gurus taught us, and whether they're issues affecting our community or others, that's what we can all get involved for, and that's how we change the world.
I'm honored and humbled to speak about Guru Nanak Dev Ji, whose teachings and legacy continue to inspire millions around the globe. Guru Nanak Ji is not just the founder of Sikhi, but a beacon of universal human values, values that resonate profoundly within the ideals of democracy, equality, and justice we uphold in this very house. Tonight, I will attempt to share 3 insights from his teachings that continue to be my inspiration. The first one being Hazuri, which simply means feeling the divinity within and all around you. Hazuri, it can act as an anchor, a lens through which we can perceive and articulate life's profound truths. We are born into the world, we all are, not just physically, but in layers. What are the layers? Layers are overthinking patterns, behaviors, and beliefs forming slowly over time. As we grow, something else grows within us. A central force emerges. Do you know what that is? The notion of me. We all get that. This me becomes the axis around which our existence revolves. The me is relentless, ensuring its own survival and reinforcement. And guess what? It is fixed, self-contained, and absolute. With me at the center, it feels impossible to look beyond its walls, to see the greater reality that exists outside the limited self. But then Guru Nanak Ji comes. Where does he come? Remember that welcoming heart where his home is? That's where he comes, and something shifts. For me, this is an interpretation of Satgur Nanak Pargatya, Mitti Tond Jag Chanan Hoa. Tond means the fog. Anyone driven in fog? You know what it feels like, right? What happens? Fog is very dangerous and potentially causes lots of accidents, even more than darkness. So the fog in our life was leading to accidents of falsehood, anger, hatred, jealousy, and so on. A new light filters in, a light of Guru Nanak's presence through his teachings, his Gurbani, which is eternal, still on with us here tonight. A light that offers a glimpse of an entirely different world. It is a world where the rules that governed me, remember that axis, crumble. The first shattering realization is the oneness of the Creator and the creation. Ek Oankar. They are not separate entities. They are one. And in that realization, the walls of separateness begin to fall. Isn't it earth-shattering, yet liberating? Hazuri is just not a concept. It's the essence of existence. It is ever-present truth that we are not separate from the Creator, from creation, or from each other. And in its realization, there is no longer a me. Only the eternal oneness of being and moving with a sense of grace and unity. Happy Gurpurab. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Thank you very much for having me tonight. My name is Sarah Coombs and I'm the new MP for West Bromwich. I can see some Sandwell faces in the room. Wave if you're from Sandwell. Anyone else? Okay, very good. That was a really powerful speech about the ongoing relevance of the teachings of Guru Nanak Dev Ji, about the importance of equality, of charity, of standing up for justice. And I hope as a new MP, those are the values that I can embody as we go on this journey together, recently elected in July. And I know the connections with my local Gurdwaras in West Brom are really important to me, and I've learned a lot through the community. And I hope that I can be a good representative for the Sikh community and the wider community in West Brom, and I can stand up for the issues that really matter to you, whether they're the kind of equalities issues about the Sikh community, but also about GPs and cost of living and all the things that matter so much to everyone. So thank you very much for having me. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
My name is Sonia Kumar, I'm the MP for Dudley. So privileged to be here today on this stage to share with so many honourable people. And yeah, I want to say happy Gurpurab, and hopefully this year ahead will be prosperous for us all. And hopefully I'll be embodying the Sikh values, not just as day to day, but also while I'm here. So happy Gurpurab, and hopefully I'll get to speak to you as I go around.
Akaal, I'm Warren Singh Just, I'm the MP Wolverhampton West, newly elected, and I want to wish everybody a very happy Guru Nanak Dev Ji's message of oneness, his first words as he uttered, as he went missing for 3 days, and then he appeared and he said, Ek Omkar, one God for everyone, not only for Sikhs, but for all religions and for atheists. And the concept of Sikhi is very, very simple. Naam Joko, Vandke Shako, Kirt Karo. And when we talk about Vandke Shakana, it's not only your wealth, it's your wisdom, it's your knowledge. And as MPs, as Sikh MPs, this is what we are trying to do. We are trying to share our knowledge. Pete Gill said that we need more Sikhs. So hopefully the work that we do here in Parliament will enable more of us, more people like yourselves to come forward and to become MPs. So I want to wish everyone a very happy Gurpurab this evening.
Member of Parliament for Doncaster Central, thank you for all coming here today and making the journey down. It's fantastic to have representation from Doncaster as well, and I look forward to working with the good fathers in my constituency, but also representing the values of social justice that matter to you all, both to the Sikh community but also for everybody. So thank you again for coming here today, and I look forward to meeting everyone as the event goes on.
The awards themselves, the recognition we give, is something special. We've been doing it now, this is the 8th year. When Breed and Dhananjit became MPs, so 2017 was the first year we celebrated Gurpurab. We've been doing it every single year. And this is the one thing that the individuals that we recognise, what they have to say is probably worth listening to more than what we say. But there are two or three things I wanted to add to what's been said. If you could sum up Guru Nanak Dev Ji in one word, and one word that's very relevant to the place we sit in, it's the word equality. Gender equality, Guru Nanak Dev Ji was well ahead of his time. You know, women only got the right to vote in this country around about 100 years ago. But Guru Sahib, 555 years ago, recognized the importance of gender equality. He also recognized the equality of faiths, that there are many different routes to God, different faiths, and we should respect each other and respect different faiths. And finally, he challenged the caste system. That was all about equality. We are all human beings. But I'm going to try and reflect on the last 12 months. 12 months ago, when we celebrated Gurpurab, there was one burning issue that you can relate to Babar, and why Guru Nanak Dev Ji called Babar a Jabbar. And what was happening around the globe. But all of a sudden, this big news came out in September that Justin Trudeau stood up in the Canadian Parliament and made an allegation. And at around about time we celebrated Gurpurab, news was coming out of the US. It's really important to reflect on the issue of transnational repression. It's something that politicians in every single parliament, I would say, are deeply concerned about. Transnational repression by any country challenges the rule of law. It challenges the sovereignty of a nation. And what we've seen in the last 12 months is we've seen that picture unfold. That picture unfold And actually, you can relate it to the teachings of Guru Nanak Dev Ji. Guru Nanak Dev Ji also said, to get salvation, fear not. Freedom comes from dispelling your fear. You shouldn't frighten anyone, but also you should not be fearful yourself. And what we've been seeing is transnational repression is a challenge to instill fear amongst people, Sikhs living in Canada, in the US, and the UK. And there are people in this room that have told that story. They know who they are. And I'm going to give a shout out, because we're not recognizing him in awards. Greg Miller is here from the Washington Post, a Pulitzer Prize winner who wrote in the Washington Post, and you can read it yourself, April 24, the expose of what was happening, primarily in America, but also linked to Canada. Journalists have played a crucial role in Canada, in America, and the UK to try and tell the truth of what governments sometimes get up to and is hidden away from us. And I'll finish on this one final note, because it's very poignant. In the last 7 days, the issue of Sikhs in this country being targeted, killed, threatened, has started to come out. 3 filmmakers, one from Germany, 2 from the UK, want to do documentaries on how British Sikhs have been targeted through transnational repression. It's a story to be told. The post office scandal, the Al-Qaeda scandal, these are the people that are looking at this issue. And actually, we're going to be here to meet some of the people here that have been directly affected. I go back. This is what Guru Nanak Dev Ji taught every one of us. Fear not, frighten not. ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ।
congratulations on such an auspicious occasion. I'm not going to speak for very long, and when a barrister says that to you, you should think twice about it, because often if you give a barrister the floor, they will never give it back up again. But I'm representing Avatar's family. I'll say a few words about him. Many of you may know about that story. And one thing that I thought of when I was walking in here is that if someone had told you about what's happened in Canada, or someone had said that the Indian state is going to try to assassinate Sikh people in Canada, if they told you this 4 or 5 years ago, I wouldn't have believed it. I wouldn't have believed it. If someone came up to me and said that's going on, I would have said, well, that's a conspiracy theory, isn't it? Some people in the room may have, but I wouldn't have. So it just shows you how far the kind of discussions moved, and things which may once have been thought of as conspiracy theories actually are borne out by the facts that as we know them now. So who is Avatar? Avatar was 35 years old. He sought asylum in the United Kingdom. He thought he was going to be safe here. He lived in Birmingham and worked as a removalist. His father and uncle were both assassinated in India. In relation to the protests at the High Commission, he was being targeted before that protest, but that targeting gained momentum after that protest, where we remember the Indian flag was taken down from the High Commission in March of last year. There was lots of false reporting. His sister and mother were targeted in India because of that, and there was a huge campaign against him in Indian nationalist media. There were a number of threats to his life, including from commentators in India, which you'll all know about, and Indian security officials made several calls to him as well and to his family. What preceded his death and preceded the attack in Canada and the attempted attack in New York was the National Investigation Agency traveling to London in May of 2023. He was suddenly taken ill on the 11th of June 2023, and he was declared dead on the 15th of June with a cause of death as acute myeloid leukemia. And in relation to that, the investigation didn't go much further than that from the West Midlands Police. Those supporting me from the Sikh Federation and his friends and family pushed and have been pushing the West Midlands Police to do a proper investigation. And you can watch as you see their responses in the media. First they say, we've investigated this and there's nothing to see here. And then it moved to the end stage where they say, well, actually we didn't investigate it because the coroner said there's nothing to look at. Because they didn't speak to any of his friends, they didn't speak to any of his colleagues, they didn't even go to his house. These are the very basic things you do if you want to investigate what had happened to somebody. And we know that this type of leukemia can be induced from outside agents as well. It can be a natural occurrence or it can be induced by outside agents. Some of you may have seen this week from the United States release of information in relation to President Putin's campaign against dissidents going over 15 years. And there were so many deaths during that period, and it's now been released by the American security services, that we thought were people dying of old age or becoming ill, that we now know were actual assassinations. And I think what we've got in Canada and what we've got in the United States, which we've got very clear, very strong evidence of, is just the tip of the iceberg, as many people in this room will know. In relation to the reporting, Indian national sources claimed that they'd been involved in some way in the hit on him. And what was worrying about this case is no post-mortem was carried out. And as I said, West Midlands Police, they said they investigated, then they changed their tune very quickly when it was pointed out to them that they hadn't even taken those initial steps that you would take. In relation to holding an inquest, the level to hold an inquest is not very high. It's just a suspicion of an unnatural death. You don't have to go there and prove that. And the reason why you have inquests is so that people can be sure and assuaged of any concerns they may have as a community or individually about the way somebody died. So there's no requirement for you to go there and prove that someone was assassinated or was poisoned or was mistreated in any way, because to put the bar that high would get rid of the whole purpose of an inquest, which is to investigate how someone has passed away and to look after people's concerns about what's happened. So in this case, what's come out in Canada and what's coming out from the rest of the world in relation to the repression of Sikh people and attacks against them is very helpful, because within about a 2-3 week period, we had the NIA coming to London, we had Avtar's death, we had Panam's assassination, and we had the attack in the intended attack in New York as well. So it's all within this really short period of time. When you look at it in that context, which the coroner wouldn't have had when she initially considered things, if you look at it in that context, we'd say there's at least some suspicion there to consider. So we've got some medical evidence that we will put forward. We have what's coming out of Canada, which we're going to put forward, and we're going to ask the coroner again to please open an inquest. We thank all of you for your support and your care about the case. It's something that I think is very important. And we say this, that if an inquest is held and it decides that nothing untoward happened, then so be it. But let's have that investigation. Thank you.
Was for those who do save our day in, day out, not seeking accolades, not seeking reward or recognition, but as a duty for us, it's something that we wanted to reach out, because they've been an inspiration to many of us growing up, and as that line continues, that legacy continues. So we're going to begin the evening of our recognition, and the first award we're going to be discussing is the contribution to politics. Now, the person we're recognising for their contribution to politics really needs no introduction, certainly not to the Sikh community. He was an MP for West Bromwich East for over 18 years and was also the deputy leader of the Labour Party from 2015 to 2019, when in actual fact we got our first Sikh female MP, Preet Kaur Gill, and our first turban-wearing MP, Dhananjay Singh Tesi. And he's now currently a member of the House of Lords since 2022. He's a lifelong friend of the Sikh community. When in 2014, when the UK government papers were exposed and inadvertently released, highlighting the involvement and collusion of the Margaret Thatcher government with the Indira Gandhi government attacking Sri Harmandir Sahib in June 1984. He was instrumental in committing Labour to an independent, judge-led public inquiry. That campaign he's continued to fight for till this day, and we hope that he'll continue to support that from the Lords, as will many of his colleagues in the other House. So it's an honour to announce the recipient of this award is Lord Tom Watson. Thank you, Joyce, for receiving it on behalf of Tom Watson.
The next award is Contribution to Sports. A commercial lawyer who has worked for globally recognised organisations, an advisor and steering committee member to the GLA, Mayor of London's office, co-chair of Basaki London, where they've worked with the GLA to commemorate the 1984 as a genocide this year, chairs the Professional Women of Faith group to encourage and promote interfaith engagement, understanding and friendships between professional women in the UK, is also one of the co-founders and now advisory board members of Khalsa Fostering. Today, she is being recognised for her role as president and founder of the Sikh Games. This project was launched in the UK this August, bringing together athletes of all levels and abilities from around the UK over a 3-day sporting event. The aim is to support 15 countries to come together over the world's first ever global Sikh Games in April 2030. We are delighted to announce the recipient of this year's contribution to sport is Mandeep Kaur Moore.
This award goes to an organisation that started with a basic Punjabi school in 1960. By the 70s, it was funding Punjabi schools all over the Midlands. In 2016, they developed into an academy. Since then, the Guru Nanak Gurdwara Guru Academy in Smethwick has made remarkable strides in fostering cultural education and holistic learning among students and the wider community. With a growing enrollment of over 500 students and a dedicated team of 20 teachers and teaching assistants, the Academy serves as a vibrant hub for Punjabi language and education. The Academy offers a comprehensive curriculum that includes Punjabi language courses ranging from beginner to A-level. This ensures that every student, regardless of their starting point or their age, has an opportunity to learn and grow their understanding and fluency in Punjabi, our mother tongue. In addition to language, G&T Gurmat Academy takes pride in offering free GCSE maths and science support, Gurmat Sangeet training in vocals, bajaj, harmonium, Taji Saj, string instruments, and tabla. These courses are aimed at cultivating love for traditional Sikh music among students, allowing them to connect spiritually and culturally with the teachings of our Guru. So it's a real pleasure to announce the recipient of this year's contribution to education is Guru Nanak Gurdwara Gurmat Academy. And I know there's a big contingent of volunteers here, so I'll ask a few of them to please come up and
Aji Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. So we're honored to be here today. We've just brought a small selection of our Sevadars. It's quite ominous that our Gurdwara is called Guru Nanak Gurdwara Smedic. And we like to think that we're trying to follow in the footsteps of Apni Beli Pasha Guru Nanak Dev Ji. So where they called Babar Jabar, we're trying to continue that lineage. We're speaking about the injustices that happen. Avtar Singh Khanda's case, the funeral of Avtar Singh Khanda was conducted by Guru Nanak Gurdwara Smedic's Sangata, and Maharaj Di Kirpana is probably one of the biggest funerals that we'd see to date, but that was to send a statement to people that try to carry out this oppression, that no, Guru Nanak Dev Ji has taught us this and we will continue. But also, whilst we do that, we've got a duty to prepare our children so that they can carry on this fight against injustice and to carry on this propagation of the Sikh ethos, Sikh faith, so that we don't lose our heritage, we don't lose our history. So I could go on and on, but we owe this award to Guru Badshah, Tan Sri Guru Maharaj Ji, Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj. We owe it to our Sangata and our Sevadars. So, inna hi kehda das kimaं da jache Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
A British business magnate and CEO of Brit Asia TV, UK's largest and first British Asian TV channel that celebrates the Asian community around the world to showcase their music and achievements. He comes from a very strong Sikh Panthak family background. With diverse business interests, his contribution towards television, real estate, telecom, and media are commendable. He has decades of experience within the media and entertainment industry, which drove him to carry out the legacy of his father and help launch the world's first ever TV channel for Sikhs, the Sikh channel, and has backed and supported many other Sikh causes. His effort and focus led him to purchase Brit Asia TV, and in a very short time, he relaunched it to grow its viewership from 100,000 to now over 1 million viewers per month. He has followed up his success with numerous ventures, including Brit Asia Radio, Brit Asia Awards, the first ever Punjabi Film Awards outside of India. Recently, he came up with a new initiative launching Brit Asia Fund, a project which globally aims to teach and guide startup businesses and develop a roadmap for entrepreneurs to realize their ambition and dreams. The recipient of this year's contribution to business is Guru Sevak Singh Sherhill.
He recognises the injustice in the Sikh community and the Panthak family through the media reports and selflessly reached out to offer his help with his services. As a barrister, he represents clients in the most high-profile and important cases before international courts, United Nations bodies, and human rights-related arbitrations, in proceedings around the world and before the courts in England and Wales. On hearing of the tragic and suspicious death of Dar Singh Kanda, he immediately reached out to offer pro bono legal services to his family and the community in the pursuit of truth and justice. Still committed to that cause a year on, he's gone above and beyond in his dedication and determination to expose the truth in the case of Akaal, and very limited time, resource and information. So it's a real privilege, you've heard from him earlier this evening, that we have worked, and I've worked with him closely, that we recognise him for his efforts, something echoed by Akhtar's mum, Bibi Janjeet Kaur, and his sister Jaspreet Kaur, for the year's contribution towards human rights goes to Michael Pollard of Church Court Chambers.
To media. This person works for a media platform that bravely covers all aspects of the Sikh struggle, understanding both the historic and current situations. The platform provides uplifting content from various global sources in an online TV network with open discussion and news direct from those involved. The person receiving the award is a senior journalist operating from the UK and has become a household name for many Sikhs. And along with James from Vancouver, our co-hosts on Satluj TV, which is owned by Tony Mungat, CEO and founder at the Mungat Group. So the award for contribution to media goes to Angus Scott.
The organisation we are recognising today is a leading human rights firm of lawyers. The firm specialises in human rights and is one of the leading judicial review and public law practices in the country. It has undertaken a large number of high-profile judicial reviews for charities, civil society organisations, including challenging the Cabinet Office and the Office for National Statistics on the decision around the Sikh ethnic tick box, a campaign that was run by the Sikh community both in the UK and in Scotland. Its Human Rights Department offers specialist expertise in a wide range of human rights and civil liberty issues. The firm has submitted a claim in the High Court in London against the Foreign Office and the Home Office and the Attorney General, claiming with information shared by British intelligence agencies that led to the abduction of Jagtar Singh Johal in 2017. Currently, the Sikh community is working with the firm looking at digital surveillance across transnational oppression by the Indian government and how they may be targeting Sikh activists in the UK. The award for recognised organisation goes to Lee Day and Erin Alcott, an associate of the Human Rights team, is here to collect. So again, thank you, Erin.
The next award is contribution to charity, selfless seva. The recipient of this award started the Baba Fateh Singh Akhara, Berkah Akhara in Leighton Gurdwara, East London, all the way back in 1987. To raise the martial spirit of young Sikhs growing up locally who were facing bullying and violent attacks from racist groups. With just 15 dedicated students, some of whom are also here today, the Akhara has grown massively over the past 37 years to now have locations not just in East London, such as Leighton, Seven Kings and Bow, but Hounslow, Gravesend, Woolwich, Erie, Slough and Watford. It is estimated that over 10,000 students have learned from the Akhara over the 4 decades, with some families having 3 generations of connection to the Akhara. The recipient of this award and his Akhara instructors have also regularly been invited to Sikh camps in Kenya, Malaysia, Singapore, Thailand, Canada and the US. They have been involved in Nagar Kirtans across the globe and opened the International Sikh Games in Australia in 1999. The Baba Fateh Singh Akhara has also performed at the Queen's Golden Jubilee and several New Year's Day parades, as well as City Hall, Trafalgar Square, the British Museum and many other prestigious venues across the city. making several TV appearances and even being regulars at events hosted at Buckingham Palace. In addition to Sikh martial arts training, the Akal has led numerous charity events supporting both Buddha Singh Trust and Bingolwara, Khalsa Aid and Sikh bike rides. We are delighted to present the star Updev Singh, affectionately known to all as Dedi, and the instructors of the Baba Fateh Singh Vekta Akara with an award for selfless service for the Sikh community.
Is a recognition for international contribution. The recipient of this award spent several years as a Chief Operating Officer in the British Columbia Nurses Union, representing more than 45,000 members, and has a master's degree in leadership studies from occupational health and safety. Now, as a full-time Sikh activist who's been involved in Gurmat Prachar for over 2 decades, he is the founder of the Khalistan Centre, the spokesperson for the BC Gurdwara Council, former president of the Shresh Darbar Gurdwara, Surrey, BC. He has spoken extensively about the assassination of his very close friend and colleague, Shaheed by Hardeep Singh Nijjar in Canada last year. He participated in publishing a report which documented Indian foreign interference and intelligence operations in Canada. The report titled Indian Foreign Interference, Intimidation, Disinformation and Undermining Canadian Institutions extensively cited incidents of Indian foreign interference that had been reported upon in Canadian media and acknowledged by the Government of Canada, their officials and the security agencies in recent times. He himself has received a number of threat to life warnings from the National Security Division of the RCMP, but he's remained steadfast and vocal advocate of Sikh human rights and the right to self-determination. Travelling to the UK recently, where many of you may have met and heard from him, but also been to Australia and other global countries, sharing his views and ideas with the Sikh diaspora. He's also made many high-profile mainstream TV news appearances. More recently, he's presented as a witness on recent sessions of the Canadian House of Commons on the electoral interference and criminal activities in Canada by agents of the Government of India. The recipient of this year's International Achievement Award is by Mahinder Singh of Sikh Federation Canada and Sikh Federation International. And I'd like to ask by Kaliti Kahiru, former Vice President of the Sikh Federation, to receive this award on his behalf.
There are very few people with a 45-year history of public service and supporting the Sikh community. This year's Lifetime Achievement Award recipient started off as a Vice President of the Student Union in 1978 at his college, moving on to becoming conveyor at branch level for Unison. He held numerous parent governor roles, was a lay inspector for Ofsted, sat on the local authority complaints panel, was a trained lay assessor for the General Medical Council, a reviewer for the Commission for Health Improvement, associate lecturer at Birkbeck College, appointed as a Justice of Peace and is the longest serving magistrate of Asian origin, independent advisory group member for the Metropolitan Police Service and Association of Chief Police Officers, named contributor of evidence to the Mayor of London's Race and Faith Inquiry, awarded an honorary fellowship by the University of East London, member of the Counter-Terrorism Advisory Group and Metropolitan Police Standards Ethics Board and Scrutiny Panel. In 1995, the recipient of this award, Harmandir Singh, co-founded Sikhs in England, a social policy political think tank, and has been key in developing pragmatic social policies for Sikhs in the UK, as well as leading on challenging misrepresentations of the Sikh religion. Harmandir Singh is also chair of the National Sikh Security Forum, which works closely with the Metropolitan Police and other police constabularies, raising issues of concern for the Sikh community. He has also been integral in setting up a number of interfaith forums over the past 30 years. Many in the community may be familiar with Harmandir Singh in his role as personal trainer and coach to the great Forja Singh, the world's oldest marathon runner. Harmandir Singh himself has completed 300 half marathons and 119 full marathons. He is the current president of one of the most diverse running clubs in the UK. It is our honour to present Sardar Harmandir Singh with the Lifetime Achievement Award for his immense contribution to public service and the Sikh community. Thank you, Sardar Harmandir Singh.
It's a real pleasure to know some of those recipients, and in particular Harmandir Singh there. I've known him for many, many, many decades now, and because he's almost as old as I am. And the Baba Fateh Singh Akhada, Teji, as I affectionately known him for many, many decades as well. These are wonderful people who've given service, dedicated their lives to what they do, and they do it very, very well. And I'm sure if that is the standard of all the others, that ones I don't know, then I know that the awards have gone to some really well-deserved people, and I congratulate and we honor you and thank you for all the service that you've done. And can I have a round of applause for everybody, please, who've received an award? I'd like to finish off firstly by thanking, I think I'm going to start off with the youngsters here. I think what Jasmine Kaur and Gobind Singh did was just exceptional. So thank you very much for a wonderful, wonderful Kirtan that you sung today for us. And of course, Michael, thank you for all the work that you do. We really appreciate it. And I think for justice and looking around the room, I think I do want to make sure that Mandeep Kaur, thank you for all that you do. It's a real privilege to finally meet you. I've heard so much about you, and certainly I am aware of all the work you do, but I just hadn't quite put the face to the name, and your success and your good work goes before you, so thank you for that. And I think in final, I'd like to thank the Sangat here today, who've come here from far afield, from different parts of the country, with a long journey to go home to, but in the recognition that you wanted to celebrate Guruji's Gurpurab here in Westminster. And for that, we thank you so much for sharing the evening with us, because it's with you that has made the success of this evening. We had to go from a smaller room to a bigger room because there were so many of you. Next year, we'll plan for a much bigger room as well. And so thank you for coming today, and I look forward to meeting and greeting you at the 556th Gurpurab of Guru Nanak Dev Ji. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.